The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
Good morning, guys.
Just keep talking.
Yeah, you fight through it.
Just fight on.
We'll just keep talking.
Actually, I don't think your microphone is on for whatever that's worth.
Well, you talk then.
Hey, everybody. David Hellman here. I'm here. Yeah, just, there you go.
Good morning, guys. Welcome to another episode of The Break. Derek is not here, but we have Brian Broaddus filling in for him today. We have a lot of things to talk about. The Marcus deal finally got done after a lot of discussions. And last week, I think we were headed to the point where we thought things weren't really gonna maybe not work out. You know, things were getting a lot of discussions there where it wasn't headed that way. Anyways, DeMarcus Lawrence basically got the biggest deal in Cowboys franchise history with $105 million, $21 million per year for 5 years, and $65 million guaranteed. Now, you guys were at the press conference, heard everything that was said there. How did it go from things getting heated to quickly getting that deal made, the biggest deal in franchise history?
Well, I think obviously there was a phone call, and Dave wrote a story on that, so we'll let you talk a little bit more about it. But sometimes these, the negotiations back and forth, you need to, make it human beings are involved here. It's not just a football player and the owner and the agent and all that stuff. It's like let's get this thing down to let's talk this thing out. And I believe that's kind of what happened when they got in the room and said, how do we make this work?
Yeah, which Stephen Jones said yesterday that it's not rare to do that, but it sure as hell seems like it is, because that doesn't seem like a novel concept to me. And so often during these types of standoffs, you go back to Dez in 2015, they're not communicating, they haven't talked to each other in months. It seems like that would be a good idea, and that sounds like what happened here. And it came out over the weekend. David Cantor was very open about it. DeMarcus Lawrence got on a conference call with the Cowboys, and they laid out what they want. They were honest about it. They were respectful. DeMarcus said he wanted to be here. It sounds like his camp was trying to get him to not demand a trade, but broach trade topics. And DeMarcus was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want to be here." And at the same time, I loved the line from yesterday where, DeMarcus was kind of like, your problems aren't my problems. I know you got to figure out the cap. That's not my job. That's your job. And it's true. It's absolutely true. We say that all the time. It's on the Cowboys to make all those things work. It doesn't affect DeMarcus's bottom line at all. And, they were able to get on a conference call and speak to each other as, like you said, as human beings. And it sounds like that made a ton of difference, because all of a sudden you go from they're at an impasse to not only have they hammered out a deal, but it is a remarkably fair deal. Everybody here got what they wanted. DeMarcus is making more than he would have made under the tag. He's getting more guaranteed in the first 3 years than any non-quarterback in the league. And the Cowboys have him at a number that makes sense. And more importantly than that, they can get out from under it in 3 years, which I think is everything.
Why was this not done the first place then?
That's kind of my point.
See,
if all it takes is to hop on a conference call, then we could have hammered this thing out a while ago.
If we were starting to hear rumors of discontent between the agent and the front office on some things, and so I can understand.
You were one to argue.
Okay, yeah, this is to me. This is the thing that's the if it took just a conference call to get this done, that doesn't. Why wasn't this not start? Why wasn't it not gone in this direction to begin with? And again, I can understand if the agent has a problem with the front office has a problem with the agent. All that should have been put. He's right though; it's not his problem. But it also is his problem because, the Cowboys have to think about what they're doing in the future with their contracts. They have to think about with Dak, with Zeke, Cooper, with all those guys. So it absolutely is. He could say it's not his problem, but it is his problem.
It's not his problem. It's their
it's not his problem. But I mean,
it becomes his problem.
It becomes
because
his
it
problem.
affects their decision making.
Exactly. If they, to me, if this was as cut and dry and quick as they're saying, oh well, we were. I think there were some erroneous reports about it. Oh, he wants $23 million and all that stuff like that. I think that was probably, when you talk to people behind the scenes, that affected. Calvin Watkins came out with that $23 million with this demand and all that. I think that affected the negotiations. I think it did. I think it affected the negotiations on the side of Cantor and those guys because they were put in a bad light right there. So, maybe there were some hurt feelings as this thing went off. And then it's like, okay, we've got to get this thing done.
Well, I just don't understand. I mean, if Dak is part of this and Zeke is part of this and Cooper is part of this, then why wasn't DeMarcus part of this way back before? Kind of like you just said. I mean, why is this going to now? Because they don't seem to be dragging their feet on anybody else.
Yeah.
So why were we dragging our feet on this?
And that
I think there was problems between the groups.
Yeah.
I really do.
I think so too.
And they can act like that there weren't problems, but if you kind of sniff around enough, which everybody in this room will do, you will find out that it wasn't really all hunky dory. And that's why
Stephen Jones kind of hinted at that yesterday. He's like, if you're not careful, these things can become confrontational, and you forget that you're actually really on the same team.
Right.
DeMarcus Lawrence is technically he's under club control. He is a Dallas Cowboy. He's not your enemy. He's one of your best players. But it's easy to forget that when you start haggling over money. And I guess my point is, and I'm not privy to these conversations, so I don't want to be too quick to judge. But like I said, so many times it feels like. It feels like whenever these things happen, the team and the agent are talking to the media more than they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you're leaking things to the, maybe the team side is leaking that the player wants too much money, or the player's leaking that the team sent him an insulting offer. Instead of doing all that, why don't you just hop on a conference call and say, hey, it's me, it's DeMarcus, it's the guy that you drafted and developed. I'm not trying to bend you over a barrel. I just want what's mine. And the team says, we get that, and here's what we're willing to do. And maybe this stuff would be easier.
See, I know from the Cowboys' point of view, and we're in the building every day, I didn't hear one thing regarding the contract. I never heard, and it could have been really easy for the Cowboys to put it out through one of us that, hey, okay, his demands are unreasonable. I mean, they had it buttoned down from their end.
Yeah.
So everything that we were hearing, in my opinion, it was coming from the other side. That's where I was the Cowboys. I felt like the Cowboys in this negotiation were going to put their heads down and go and try and get this thing done. And, again, we live in this building, and there's things you hear, but that was something I never heard. Never heard anything the way the negotiations were going from their end, or the money or the numbers or any of that stuff.
Actually, when you think about it, what D-Law's camp did was pretty good, because if you stall on this thing and you say we're not signing anything at all until we get to that point, there's a deadline of the there's a deadline for
the surgery.
Not just the surgery, but also when you've got to come up with the franchise tag. Yeah. So if you just let that pass, the Cowboys are going to tag you, and once they tag them, then you're over $20 million.
Right.
See, I think if they would have done this beforehand, they probably would have get them in at 18, 19 or something like that. But as soon as you tag me and sell me, I'm a $20.5 million, a year player, then that's where it starts. And so I think that's probably what their point was. And if that's the case, it worked.
Yeah.
If his goal was to be paid MAC money, then I guess it didn't work out. But this whole thing worked out in DeMarcus's favor,
but from
too.
their camp, they'll tell you that wasn't their goal.
No, and that's my point, is I don't think it was. But I'm saying, you can be as critical as you want of the surgery play, but it certainly seems like it worked. I don't think this deal gets done on Friday of last week if he doesn't need to have that surgery.
I agree.
I think it goes right up until the deadline, just like Dez's did.
And the Cowboys said all along he doesn't have any leverage on this. I think he did.
It sure seems like it.
Yeah.
The leverage I was thinking of is go get the surgery. Now you're forcing them to do something.
Well, I was gonna. Does it sound really loud?
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
Got you.
I was gonna bring the whole point of you being the one to argue starting last week that
Yeah.
you thought it was the best idea for him to get the surgery,
Right.
And that would help him get the negotiation. So,
Yeah.
what was your output on that whole? Just looking at the difference of what happened out there with the whole negotiation part and the injury.
Yeah. I felt initially I thought that the surgery as he used it was kind of going to be something that would be, as he uses it, it's going to be the hammer for him to say, okay, I'm not going to get the surgery. I'm not. When then Jerry Jones came out and said, wait a minute, I am not paying high dollar, for something that's for somebody that's injured. I mean, he was talking about the first year of the contract.
Right.
Then all of a sudden now you're starting to think at that point you're going, okay, wait a minute, here's the plan. Okay, if you're worried about that, I'll get the surgery. And it's a way to maybe, okay, I'm giving you something. Now you give me something back, in the negotiations. So I that's when I heard what Jerry Jones said, that made me flip completely like, okay, Tank, if you want to make this thing work, go get the surgery. Go get this done.
Right, but he didn't need to do that. He wound up getting the deal anyway without having to have the surgery done.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think the deal went a lot faster than we even thought. We thought it was going to drag on, but something changed last week. And it might have been, again, that conversation that Stephen Jones had with his representatives that, like, okay, this is where we're I'm trying to figure out what flipped this thing to make it, and maybe getting the player involved the way they did. Maybe Tank went to them and said, went to his rep to Canner and said, hey, what's the best deal that they've offered us?
Well,
and let's if we had this number in mind, let's go with it. You know,
we talk all the time about deadlines, and maybe this was the deadline. If you think about it, we were asked
about the draft
about that. But also, when will he be ready to play?
Yeah.
Do you think he'll be ready? Do you think? I mean, we talked about it before the show, and it sounded like everyone's kind of like right there. Like, is this a 5-month? Is it a 6-month rehab? So to get this thing done with any chance of him being ready for week 1, maybe this was the deadline.
I think it was, and so it's it's not a real deadline like the July 15th deadline, but I think the draft is like the drop dead date to have hope of him being ready for the opener. And even yesterday, Steven said, I asked him, what's the plan for the spring and the summer? And he said, we're going to get him to work with our rehab guy, Britt Brown. He's one of the best in the business. And he said the hope is to have him ready for the opener. So, I mean, I have all the faith in the world in the medical team, but I think they're going to be working right up until that, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
That'll be a shame. It'll be a shame on both ends if he misses a week or two.
Because. I know. And to your point, though, if we miss a week or two, because this deal seems pretty simple to me now. If you look at the way it was done, I mean, we had this discussion, and I was kind of getting on you guys when we had with the argument with Derek when we were all on the show.
If you like him, then pay him.
Yeah, if you like him, pay him.
Yeah.
But you guys at the end of the day end up getting the number you wanted. So how hard was that?
It didn't seem hard.
And then if you lose a week of the season or 2 weeks of the season because you were, this doesn't seem very tricky to me. This doesn't seem like at the end of the day, this didn't turn into $25 million a year. It's $21 million a year. Okay, well, why did we not get to this point? And I keep saying this. I think there was a problem between the front office and the agent himself.
I don't know how you could dispute that fact at this point. And that's kind of, once you get over the excitement, okay, they got Tank, you get over the excitement and like the relief that this standoff is over. You look at the contract and you're like, this is so fair and simple for both sides. Like he slots in right behind Mac, Miller, and Donald, and right above Flowers and some of those other guys. And it's like, this is where it should have been all along.
Right.
And again, so that's my point from the top of the show is if all it took was for him to hop on a call with Steven.
Exactly.
Why did it take till April 8th?
When I was at the Pro Bowl, we were interviewing D-Law, and he was kind of not trying to talk about the contract. And the agent, which I didn't really know him at the time, what's his first name?
David Cantor.
Cantor. Okay. He leans into the conversation. He's like leaning in, and I don't know who this is, and everyone thinks it's funny. And I'm like, now it made sense that, okay, he's the agent. He's trying to hear. He talked to reporters afterwards, and they said, is this going to be tough? And he said, I don't know why this is tough. It starts at 20, and then it goes, a little bit over that. That's it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 3 months here, that's pretty much what happened.
If you're ever been in like trying to get a business deal done, if you still have the time, you're going to take that time if you can and keep, because in your mind you think, oh, let's see what's the best deal I can get. And both parts are thinking the same thing. So yes, if at the end of the day they ended up meeting in the middle and ended up being the same thing, but still you want to take advantage of that extra time if this week was kind of their deadline for having it done. So there was no really rush in there.
See, is this, all right, now if you look at this, did this affect them on other deals? If you could have got something done earlier, does it affect you on another deal? Does there some?
Why? I don't see why it would. I mean, you're not working with a deadline on anybody else, and as far as I know,
hold on. I think he's talking about an Earl Thomas situation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking about the other.
Yeah.
That's my bad.
Something else in free agency, though. Well, again, you talk about Earl Thomas. If this is something you get going right out of the gate, is that something that maybe, okay, now we got momentum and
usually, but I think the way that they're saying this is structured, that this is mainly a 3-year deal of guarantees. That means a lot of this is hitting right off the bat. So I don't.
It freed up $9 million in cap space, but like in your heart of hearts, you know what Earl Thomas wound up getting from Baltimore.
Right.
Do you really think that they're going in on that, even if they had the extra money?
I would.
It's not what I asked.
No, but I think it's going to come to a point where they're going to draft a safety, and they might draft one at 58.
Don't you think that was maybe their hope all along?
I'm
$55 million.
I'm just putting it out
they
there.
would have done
Hell,
it.
I tried to trade this guy. I mean, I'm trying to think about cutting him and doing all this kind of. I mean,
I'm
just looking at all possibilities.
I'm not asking what you would do.
Yeah.
Do you think they would have gone after Earl even with the money that they saved by signing?
You know what? I should have known better when the Earl Thomas dream died on draft night.
Last year.
Yeah, last year.
Yes.
Instead of me trying to say, oh, well, they're going to, Earl Thomas, I'd do this, that. No, that dream died in the second round at pick 250.
The visual of him coming to the Cowboys locker room was enticing, and the fact that they tried it on draft night added fuel to the fire, but this team was never going to jump in for $50 million on a free agent.
Yeah.
They haven't done it in almost a decade.
Yeah.
And I'm actually okay with that.
I am too.
Because
as soon as I saw the price of that contract, I was like, I'm out. If you could have done 3 years, 30, all right.
And to me, and I know some people may not think this is a big deal, or but flipping off your team when you're getting carted off the field, like that just kind of shows a different mentality of kind of what you're about and who you're about, and it starts with you, and I don't know if again, I was all about it, and it would have been cool to have him here, but that didn't sit well with me doing that.
So the finger changed your mind.
Flipping off your team, yeah.
I thought it was awesome, but
why?
Because
but you wouldn't do that. Like, you think Russell Westbrook is awesome. You like that kind of stuff, which is fine. But I'm saying, you're hurt and you're pissed, and flipping off your team. That isn't awesome.
It depends on the situation. I mean, I think anybody that's on his teammates know where that finger's directed. That's how I feel. Like, they know he's
flipping
not
off your coach.
He's flipping off everybody above them, from Carroll to Schneider to who. He ain't flipping off. I don't even know the other DBs in the Seahawks secondary anymore. Like, they're all gone.
Sure,
but he wasn't flipping off his teammates anyway.
Okay.
This deal just seems so simple. Now
it was,
and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be tough. This is, but when you look at it, you're like going, well, that makes a lot of sense.
These other ones are going to be hard.
Yeah, the other ones, yeah.
Well, everyone's happy now, especially Tank. He's making bank as of right now. And let's take a quick break. But when we come back, let's figure out whose contract is up next, Dak or Amari Cooper. Who's going to get paid more here, and what's going to happen in the near future?
Kaboo Texas is 3 days, 6 stages, over 100 artists, including The Killers, Lionel Richie, Leonard Skinner, Miss Lauryn Hill, Kid Rock, Alanis Morissette, Little Big Town, The 8 Vet Brothers, Counting Crows, Pitbull, Sting, the Black Eyed Peas, and the list goes on. Don't miss Kaboo, Texas. Single day and 3-day passes are on sale now. Visit KAABOOTexas.com to get your passes today.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right. News and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
Back to the break.
All right, with DeMarcus Lawrence deal being done, I think that sets another bar for these people to follow, which is Dak's contract that's coming up.
Sure.
Also, Amari Cooper. People are wondering whose contract should the Cowboys do next, who's first on the line as far as priority, and who would be, like, what kind of money are we talking about here as far as a deal, a multi-year deal?
You know, I actually have a different opinion. I think Zeke, but I don't think that's what Steven said. I mean, Steven said that it's Cooper and Dak. Of those two, I would say Cooper because he's your draft pick. He's your first round pick.
Yes.
He's the guy that you brought in here for because he was 24 years old, and so he did a nice job in his first year. And I would. You know, he's going to be here. I mean, if Dak struggles this year and they find out he's not the quarterback, Cooper's still going to be the number one receiver. If Cooper has an off year, they're going to get a new receivers coach and figure out how to fix Cooper.
Fair point.
So
Yeah.
I think Cooper's, the priority of those two.
I wonder. I just like it all stems from the quarterback, though. Like the quarterback is the domino that sets everything else. It's the biggest contract. It's the most important player. And I just wonder if maybe that spurs you to get something done. Like, financially, doing Cooper would be the smartest because it lowers your cap and it could make it easier for you to sign other deals because he's counting $14 million against your cap. If you sign him for 5 years right now,
you can lower it.
You can lower it substantially, which might make it easier. Which is why I wouldn't be surprised if Dak and Cooper are signed by the time the season rolls around. Just because
You're talking about like the training camp. We show up and get ready to get on the plane.
Sure.
One of those Dak announcements there.
But I
on the plane. Yeah.
They're both kind of in similar situations because, I don't think anybody would argue like Amari Cooper's great, but he's not the best receiver in the league. He's not Julio, AB, or Odell right now.
Okay, so the names you just mentioned, Beckham at $18 million a year.
Right.
You mentioned Julio Jones at 14.2.
He's working toward $20 million a year soon.
Yeah, he's
Okay,
getting there.
so that would make him the highest paid guy. Where does he fall in all this then?
Yeah.
Is he,
I looked at that the other
Beckham,
day.
Brown, Mike Evans.
I thought 15. I don't know where the
Hopkins, 15. You're looking.
That's kind of when I was looking at
That's
this.
Jarvis Landry money right there.
I'm thinking
Brandon Cooks.
I think the floor is probably 17. That's my guess. I don't know. I'm not a cap expert, but
well, we did a good job on that other one. You kind of had this. You had Lawrence pegged at one spot, and figure it out.
I also said that if it were up to me, I'd pay him Mac money just to get it over with. So
yeah, you just wanted to get over with.
Yeah, I just wanted to not have to talk about it anymore. For a number one receiver,
Brandon Cooks is messing up that whole thing.
Oh, there's players that'll mess up some contracts now.
Well, he did have a 1,000-yard season, right?
Look at the ages of these cats. Yeah. Beckham's 27, Antonio Brown's 31,
right?
Mike Evans 26, DeAndre Hopkins is 27,
and Cooper's 24.
Yeah, exactly. There's not a 24-year-old in the top 10 of this whole thing.
I don't think you're getting this deal done for less than $17 million a year, and maybe more than that. Which that was the point I was going to make. Is the word on the street is that Julio Jones is working toward a $20 million a year contract. At the same time, Russell Wilson is trying to get something done. He set a deadline of Monday, which
that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. So
that little short guy in Seattle ain't going to let that happen right now.
But point being, there are other quarterbacks working toward massive deals too. So do you want to try to get these Dak and Amari deals done before somebody else sets the market, or do you want to wait and see what the market looks like?
Did it really matter? Did it really matter on this last contract where the market was?
I think teams were looking at just like
the franchise tag mattered in this one, didn't it?
Yeah, and people will be looking at Russell because he's probably the best quarterback of that group. But just like the defensive ends were looking at D-Law.
Yeah,
I don't think Dak. I think the market will trickle down for him, but I mean, I don't think you can compare what Dak and Russell Wilson have done.
Yeah.
Well, you can't, but again, I mean, that's the free agent market for you, though. I mean, was Kirk Cousins really worth what he got paid when he hit free agency?
Stafford's got money, and Cousins has the money, and Derek Carr got the money.
The quarterback, to me, is the most shaky paid position in the league. I mean, like shaky guys up there getting, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some guys that are like thinking, he gets what? You know, the Kirk Cousins thing is the whole, that to me, is a very shaky situation.
And that's my point, is because you can put down their resumes on paper and be like, well, Russell Wilson's clearly better than Dak.
Yeah.
But then you say, he's 25. He's got more wins over the last 3 years than anybody not named Brady.
Brady, right.
He's won 2 division titles. He's got a playoff win in 3 seasons.
Maybe I misspoke on
this.
He's
rushed for 18 touchdowns on top of everything he's done as a passer. And all of a sudden, you're like, well, yeah, Dak probably could command $31 million on the open market if he got there.
You know what's weird is I think it's cap charge. I looked at it in different ways, but I think it's his cap value this year is he ranks 69th in the league among quarterbacks.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
You know
and
who's 70?
Freaking
Mike White.
Wow.
Is Dak Prescott ranks 69th in cap charges for quarterbacks. And 70 is Mike White.
Is that after you account for the NFL increase? Like, he's making substantially more this year because the NFL bumped his salary.
Can I jump into this conversation? I said the word shaky, and then I thought, man, maybe I'm not right about that. Rodgers is your top. We all agree.
What category are we on here?
We're quarterbacks.
But base salary or what's the highlighted thing?
Let's go with average per year.
Okay.
Average per year. Rodgers is at $33.5 million a year. Okay. Now this is where it gets fun. Matt Ryan is at $30 million. Okay? Kirk Cousins is at $28 million. Jimmy Garoppolo is at $27.5. Matt Stafford is at $27. Derek Carr is at $25 million. And Drew Brees is at $25 million with Andrew Luck at $24.5.
So 3, 4, 5, and 6 on that list have never won a playoff game.
Yeah. That's where my word shaky comes in.
And the best of all time, where's he?
Yeah.
Is he?
He's not. He's down in the 14 million range.
He ruins the whole thing because he doesn't care about making market value.
Alex Smith's in there. Joe Flacco's in there. Nick Foles is in there. Russell Wilson's at 21.9.
Well, let's take it forward a step, because in the next 2 years, we already said Russell Wilson needs a new deal. Jared Goff and Carson Wentz have club options on their contract, but they need new deals in the next 2 years. Cousins' contract in Minnesota will be over in 2021.
That's true.
Cam Newton's
his contract's over in 2021 as well. He's a $20 million a year player.
If you can find a way to pay Dak this summer, if even let's just say you made him the highest paid quarterback, which I don't even know if that would happen, but even if you did, he would be 5th on that list in a year and a half.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Let me ask you this. Stuff works.
You feel better. Okay, you probably don't feel better about Dak being better than Rodgers, of course.
No.
How about Matt Ryan?
No.
Okay, we're not going to start.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Cousins?
Yes.
Okay, is that where it stops for us at $28 million?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His Cousins better than him. Garoppolo, you think?
I'm taking based on.
We're not being homers here, are we?
Maybe we are, but like based on what I've seen on the field and what I see around him every day,
Matt Stafford.
Yes.
Every time he's played Matt Stafford, I think he's beat him, right?
That's terrifying because
Derek Carr.
Matt Stafford is unquestionably more talented than Dak. But
would you trade the two right now?
I don't think I would. Especially, no, I don't think I would.
This is just so tough to figure out because,
you've been listening. I've been seeing that.
I have been listening, but everything that Dave mentioned as far as accomplishments that he's being able to do during his time being here, when you look at that on paper and you look at his leadership around the team and all of that, you have to take that into consideration. But then there's the other part of you that watches him during game days and you get mad and you're like, oh my God, why can't he connect the freaking pass and throw the ball down the field and this and that? And you're like, okay, we need a better quarterback. So it's like, how do you draw the line?
Stop making sense over there, Garcia.
Minnesota, Detroit, Oakland, whoever else, they get pissed off at their quarterback too. Atlanta.
Oh, I know. Okay, yes. And they all
there's not a
paid.
There's not
the
a
Packers,
guys
the
made the
Saints.
playoffs.
Yeah, the Packers, the Saints. They never get mad at their quarterback.
But of those top 6 guys, and this includes the Falcons,
Matt Ryan.
The Falcons and Packers. Of those top 6 guys, did any of them make the playoffs?
No, and that's the stat people love to cite is that I think the 6 most highest paid quarterbacks didn't make it last year. I mean, there's
well, then he's sitting right there at 2 or 3. Then, I mean, yeah.
But, okay, making it to the yes, it does start with the quarterback. He's the leader of the offense, basically. But it takes a lot more than just the quarterback. I mean, if you get to the playoff, it doesn't necessarily mean your quarterback is the one that got you there.
But if you're Dak's agent, how can you look at that list and be like, yeah, but he's not,
AG is just outlining like the fan debate for us perfectly. It's it takes more than a quarterback. You can't afford to sink those kind of resources into a quarterback, especially a guy that so many people aren't sold on.
Could he have done what he did without Zeke?
This is going to be the fun debate because would you rather pay Zeke and Amari Cooper and take a chance on getting another quarterback?
I guarantee, though, and you know this because you've been in those rooms.
You could draft a running back.
Jerry won't do it, though.
No, you can't.
That's what you say all the time.
But you just said
it's easy to draft a running back.
Whoa! You just said could he do all that without Zeke?
Right.
Am I right?
No.
Could he?
I'm right on my argument, but I'm saying you always take Zeke out of the equation because you think it's easy to get a running back.
Could he do all that?
Oh no, that's the gentleman across from me that always thinks that.
Could he do all that without Amari Cooper? Because Zeke was there for the first 8 weeks of the season last year, and they weren't good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Though
he obviously needs good players around him. Like
Amari Cooper might be important there for $18 million a year, guys.
You're signing him.
It just sucks because they're going to get them all done. But they're going to have absolutely nobody. Like Jesse Hawley's going to be like the 5th receiver because they're going to have nobody else.
So that's the thing. It's like
sounds like somebody that does not trust their success in the draft.
Well, they've had success in the draft. I mean,
if you're going to pay all these guys, that's what you have to hit on your draft picks with everything else. You have to.
But have they hit? What would you say between 3 and 7? Are they great? They do have Dak Prescott. There's no doubt about that. That was great. Malik Collins has been good.
It's worth a deep dive. I haven't looked at it recently, but like they have found plenty of good players between rounds 4 and 7. I mean, Anthony Hitchens, Damian Wilson, Dak Prescott, Cole Beasley was undrafted. Malik Collins was a 3rd round pick.
Found the human log on the scrap heap.
Your favorite player.
Yep.
Anthony Brown, 6th round pick. Xavier Woods.
I mean, you need to look at his contract. Why is he making $2 million a year.
Probably because he started so many games.
The same
Same thing as
performance-based
Dak,
incentive.
Yeah.
He's getting.
I don't have a good answer for you, but I just think in terms of I just think the quarterback sets the tone for everything else. That's just how I.
One of these guys.
I don't disagree, but my problem comes when you start looking at the whole offense and how he needs too many players to be good around him. There's the O-line. There's the whole O-line. One goes down or whatever. Oh, here we go. We struggle. If the running back isn't making plays, finding the hole, getting through, Zeke is not healthy. Oh, here's a problem. If the receiver is not catching the ball, oh, here's a problem.
How many quarterbacks don't need that?
Because that Rodgers guy's that's why he makes $33 million a year.
How many games did they win last year?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Got the coach fired.
Yeah.
Well, they came out the other day with reasons why.
Yeah,
he
sure.
was playing with.
How about the guy that was here for so long? All I ever hear about Tony is that he didn't have enough around him, and he kept them competitive because he was damn good. But they didn't win enough.
They were too.
Okay, that's the point. That's the point.
So
there.
he needed
It's
better players, didn't he?
Okay, yes.
He needed an offensive line. He needed a better running back. They didn't get him DeMarco.
They tried to draft him a better running back, right?
They eventually got him one when he was 32.
Yeah, way too late to the switch on that one.
They got him Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, and Travis Frederick when he was in his 30s.
Feel more comfortable paying a guy like that can hold his own without the need of everybody else being great around
Tony
him.
Romo wasn't that quarterback until he was years older than Dak is right now. Let's not get it twisted.
I'm just saying, you got to look at all the different aspects of it.
We are
what are we arguing though? What is your point though?
Amber wants Aaron Rodgers. That's what she's saying.
No,
basically.
I mean, but
she wants to draft the team.
No. When we start talking about money and the amount of money that you're wanting to pay or having to pay a quarterback, where's the line being drawn there when you have to look at other players? Because Byron Jones, another guy that's coming up. Do you want to keep him? And everybody's...
He's the guy that's kind of getting kicked to the curb right now. And Zeke's starting to get kicked to the curb, too.
Here's the biggest one for me. It's got to be Cooper. And I know that we're going to talk about this later, and I might go with Zeke. But Cooper's the one. Well, Zeke I think is important, too. But you can sign Amari Cooper. I think you get Amari Cooper at an 18 to 19 a year. At maybe an 8 or 9 year deal. About? 8 or 9 year deal, just like you did with Tyron Smith. He's young. He's going to be here for a while, and you can stretch his contract. You're going to have to do that with one of these guys. Well, which one would you do it with?
Whose contract are you going to feel the less? Whose contract are you going to feel the least best about? I guess you know what I'm trying to say. When you get to the point, you're saying, okay, you're going to pay these guys. Like you say, okay, do you want to pay Cooper first because you're going to feel like that contract's going to hold value for you throughout that, or is the Dak Prescott, or is the Ezekiel Elliott contract going to be better for you long term?
Why can't you do a Zeke contract similar to what you did D-Law? I don't mean it has to be $21 million, but I'm just saying that type of deal where it's really a 3-year deal, but it looks like a 5-year deal. And that's kind of what you see, because you think
whose contract is going to hold better value. I guess that's what I should ask.
I think I would be the least scared.
I think I would be thoughts out straight today. Sorry about that.
I think it's what you're trying to say. I think the answer for me was Cooper.
I agree. It would be Cooper. I don't want to sign anybody to an 8-year deal. Please, that's just begging.
What did Tyron get? A 7-year deal?
He got an 8-year extension, and I mean that. Hey. First of all, it's a position that's known for longevity. He is a special class of athlete, in my opinion. And on top of that, we're not done with that yet. He's got a lot of time left on that deal, and we'll see how it holds up.
Yeah.
I mean,
to me, I think
it's getting to be in the steal value right now.
It's getting close, but he's not done until 2023.
I think we all feel worse about the potential of signing the quarterback. It sounds like.
All right, let's take a quick break. But when we come back, I've seen several people propose franchising him and giving that a try. Let's get into that discussion when we come back.
While a player can look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It's time for Tailgate with the OtterBox boys.
OtterBox, the makers of those crazy protective phone cases?
The one and only. They're also wild about protecting parking lot parties from sad drinks. It's why they made elevation tumblers.
Rumor around the crockpot is they're made from stainless steel with a copper lining to keep temps hot or cold.
True, they even come in 7 different sizes, up to 64 ounce, the growler.
I like how OtterBox drinks. Thinks.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Check out all the colors and sizes of their elevation tumblers at otterbox.com.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Playmaker, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The Playmaker includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized Intense Therapy lip balm and a Cowboys can cooler. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word Cowboys. The Jack Black Playmaker, $10, free shipping.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with sideline access and photo ops with current players, alumni, and cheerleaders. That's not all, though. You'll get to talk X's and O's with Senior Director of Player Personnel Will McClay, and of course with yours truly, me, Brian Broaddus. You can trust the official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and with us, you'll travel like a pro. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Back to the break.
All right. We have been discussing Dak's future contract, Ezekiel Elliott's future contract, but here's another thought. Why or why not would it be a good idea or not a good idea to franchise Dak Prescott, test it out, and see how he does on another year?
Same plan you did with Lawrence?
Yeah.
2-year test?
That figure is 25.
It's 25 and a half right now, which means if they do it next year, it'll go up.
26, 27 for next.
That would kind of put him right where all those quarterbacks are that we don't like. Am I right about that?
Here's why. And you're right. They did it with Tank. It doesn't.
The defensive end number is clearly different than a quarterback
it's
number.
Lower. It's also a less important position. It's important, but it's less important. I just think that's a bad idea for a number of reasons. One, we talked about it off the air. I'd rather start the clock ticking. Like if you signed him in June again, and we say this all the time. These NFL deals, they're really like 3-year deals. Or if it's a 6-year deal, it's a 4-year deal. Like it's all about the guarantees and how quickly you can get away from the decision. If you sign him now, you're getting
that's one.
You're getting closer. Yeah, you're getting closer to that anyway. So Dak's going to start for you regardless, whether it's on $2 million salary as a rookie contract right now, or whether it's on a new deal. He's your starter. So you can count this year toward that right now if you sign him now. And if you decide you're not happy with it, you're all the closer to getting away from it. Whereas if you franchise him next year, you're paying $28 million. You got to pay him that money, and then if he keeps balling and keeps doing it, then all of a sudden the price is even higher than it already was, and you're another year away from being able to get out from under that deal. He's another year older. And then there's the psychological aspect of it, where if there's one guy in the entire locker room who I don't want to be unhappy or not bought in, it's the quarterback. I do not want Dak Prescott.
Especially this one.
Yeah. We say it like, I think he's better than he gets credit for from a mechanics standpoint and accuracy. He's better than he gets credit for, but let's not kid ourselves. Like his best feature is leadership and charisma.
He wins.
And getting people together. I don't want there to be any doubt that he's bought in or all in on the side of the franchise. I don't want him even maybe sort of questioning whether or not he's got a future here.
Because and I think people that are asking that are probably people that still have those doubts as well.
Sure.
And that's what a franchise tag is. Because if you didn't think that he wasn't that guy that you could sign 5 or 6 years, you probably wouldn't give it to him. That's why they gave it to D-Law. It's like, well, he's had one good year. Can he do it again?
Yeah, but is it a way you give him $28 million for the franchise tag, and say he plays well on it, isn't that the proof again? Because you're giving him a lot of money and you're making him play for it. If he stinks, then you got your answer. He can't handle the pressure of being a $28 million a year quarterback. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong. It's just the question is has he already proven it? In 3 years, has he proven it? That's the debate. That's the debate that's going on.
We think he's better than half those stiffs that are up top of the board, right?
That's why I agree with what Dave is saying. I think you start it now because I don't think he's. I mean, yeah, you could have. Was he going to make $2 million? He doesn't need to be making $2 million. This is similar to what Emmitt Smith back in '93. I mean, what else does he need to do? He doesn't need to be making $2 million a year. He needs a new deal. He should get a new deal this year.
Well, on top of everything else, yeah, you can bring fairness into it. I mean, even if you think he sucks, you cannot deny that he's drastically outperformed his contract.
Right.
He is the most underpaid player in sports, probably. Period.
And one of the most scrutinized players here.
Yeah. Exactly. But anyway, okay, let's go through with your thought experiment. If you do all that, you make him play on the tag. He plays out this contract. You tag him. So then the quickest you can...
And he crumbles.
Okay. He's terrible.
He sucks next year on the tag.
He sucks on the tag.
He sucks in 2 years on the tag. So the quickest you can get away from Dak Prescott is 2021.
Right.
If you sign him in June, by 2021, you're already close to being done with that anyway.
Well,
I mean, you got a year or two before you can get away from it. You need to draft a quarterback anyway. I'd rather just start the clock. And then on top of that, what I just said, if you sign him at training camp, he will be a bargain in 2 years. Like the market will push him.
We've already determined he's better than a lot of those
and
guys.
And that's this contract will look good in comparison in no time. Like that's how these things work. So I mean, Romo got what, like $20 million a year, and that was insane. That was only 6 years ago, and now the salaries are astronomically higher than that. Rodgers has a full $80 million on top of his deal to what Romo got.
What's Breeze doing? Why is he so low?
$25 million. He's always done that. The last 3 years.
Breeze and Brady are outliers. Yeah. They're closer to the end of their career.
Yeah, they're playing the 17th hole right now.
They've made all the money they need to make. Brady is especially annoying because his wife Giselle she makes more than he does.
Yeah.
And so they can afford to do that. You cannot expect a single 25-year-old who was drafted in the 4th round to be willing to play by the same rules by a Hall of Famer who's on his 8th contract.
I'm not saying the same rules. I just mean it's messing up the whole thing.
Oh, Breeze and Brady ruined this whole thing because they're arguably the best 2 quarterbacks in the league, and they're playing for pennies.
Emma, can I ask one question real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, let's slot this runner then.
Ooh, real quick. Mahomes is going to be up soon too. I mean, like after this season, they can start negotiating with him. And what do you think that's going to fetch?
Yeah.
What do you like? So,
but who would you rather have?
I would rather have Pat Mahomes, but that's not the point. The point is,
what is your point?
The Chiefs are going to sign him to a $200 million deal.
That's not in your ballpark then. If you clearly think that Mahomes is better, you're not going to sign your guy to a $200 million.
But that's what if? Let's just say that Dak gets him back to the playoffs this year. Maybe they even get to the NFC title game. Let's be optimistic.
Okay.
And then Mahomes breaks the bank with a $200 million deal, and Dak, who is not as good as Mahomes, but has this fantastic resume through 4 years, is like, where my money at?
Yeah.
Let's start the clock on this thing and avoid these types of conversations.
That's not wrong. Todd Gurley making 14.3. Le'Veon Bell making 13.1. David Johnson making $13 million. This is just a year. This is a year where you look at Zeke, he's okay, better than Bell?
Yes, he's a 15 to me. He's a 15 million. If that's it.
Garcia?
Yeah.
I'm 4 for 60.
Yikes.
Where's he at right now?
Sorry. I mean,
I don't disagree with you.
It's just a yuck.
Right now, he is, if you look at where he is behind Lamar Miller. Lamar Miller makes 6.5. He makes 6.2. You got Fournette ahead of him, Jerick McKinnon, Barkley, McCoy, Freeman, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley.
Hold on. Jerick McKinnon. What is that deal?
It's from the 49ers. It's 7.5 a year.
They have ungodly amounts of cap space.
Throwing money.
Yeah.
Well, that only helps.
We got that. They have that quarterback that we really didn't like there.
I made this. I didn't say I didn't like Jimmy Garoppolo. I just like Dak more.
You kind of did. You kind of gave him
I
that.
did not.
You did.
I like Dak more.
Sharpay face. You kind of like,
the guy's played like 9 games.
Yeah. They gave him a lot of money for 9 games.
I know.
Where's he fall? He's better than David Johnson, right? You think he's better? You think he's number 1?
Yeah, I'm number 1 on the list.
I made this comment like a month ago. It
Pay
really.
him. I'm good with that. Pay him.
I'm
You
paying
know the beating he gets?
I'm paying him right now.
He deserves that
today,
money.
Today. Start it up. I don't care what happened to Gurley.
Watch what's about to happen over here.
I care what happened to Gurley.
Yeah, watch what's about to happen over here.
I mean, we don't know. We don't know for sure, but like, what? I mean, what if Gurley can't finish this contract or even come close?
He
to
might
it?
not.
But why was Gurley the 11th pick overall, anyways?
He did have injury problems, and Zeke has had none. He's never missed a game due to injury. Knock on wood.
I know.
No, honest. I mean,
don't break the table.
All right.
It gives me pause. Just again, and if you're gonna pay your quarterback the amount of money, the amount of money that we are talking about, that's how you offset that. Is you draft running backs at a discount to offset the cost.
Did you pay offensive linemen so you didn't have to pay running backs?
I mean, you would think. And let's.
Oh, what was that little? Little head tilt there. What was that all about?
They drafted this guy.
They drafted this guy to get Tony Romo over the hump.
No question.
That's what they did, and
they
everybody
now
was
we're
on
all
board
like,
with it.
whoa, that was not a bad pick, right?
No, and I'm not criticizing the pick. I was 100% on board with Zeke. I think the world of Zeke, and honestly,
Ramsey.
Go back and listen to it.
I think I do. I've listened to 18 hours
Go
of coverage
back and
of you
listen
talking.
to it. I drove the Zeke train for 3 months. I don't want to hear it. I was there.
I thought Taylor was on.
Taylor was too. That's my point. Everyone that works here was on board with it. And I still am. Like I think the world of Zeke. He's a great player.
But you'll tell me right now I could draft a running back, right?
You could.
Yeah.
But I would honestly
you brought a second round one in earlier.
If I could if I just could have it the way I wanted and negotiations weren't part of it, I would sign him to a 4-year extension right now. You have him under control for 6 more years. He comes out of the deal. I think he's 24 right now. He wouldn't, he wouldn't even be 30 when the deal was over.
Gurley's 25, Bell's 27, David Johnson's 28. Freeman is 27.
Zeke's age and his durability make me okay with doing that type of deal.
He took a beating. She's right, though.
Yeah.
He took a beating. $13 million a year taking a beating like that?
It's scary. And that's I slot him like last, and I hate to say that because I think he's a great player, but
Can
it's
we
just
get
the
a
nature
real
of the
running
position
back behind him?
But wait, listening to you guys talk, you sound like you're more on board of him being the first guy next to get signed.
That's
Nick.
You thought you were going to flip.
That's Nick.
I'm going to go with that.
Flip Nick who's going to.
No, Zeke's going to be my pick. We're going to do this later today. A gut feeling on which guy should be done first. But I think that the weird one here is Amari, because I think Amari's a guy that you could give a longer deal to,
and it would work. And it would work.
And then that's going to stretch it out, and he's not going to count as much. I mean, it'll look like he will,
right?
But if you stretch it out 7 or 8 years, how many times is the cap going to go up in that time?
A lot.
Twice, 3.
Yeah, you guys sound more sure about signing this runner than anything.
I want to start that clock right now with Zeke.
The runner is the most proven commodity. It's also the least valuable.
More proven
position.
than Cooper, right?
Get me to 28 years old for him. How old is he? 24?
I think he's 24.
Give me a 4.
You don't have to guess. We don't have to guess, Nick. We can just look it up. 24. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
20. Get me through when his season when he's 28. And then after that, we'll see.
I also, I feel like another, people brought this up yesterday is like, why is Zeke getting pushed to the back burner? Why isn't anybody talking about Zeke? Well, he's got 2 years left.
Yeah.
They have a 5th-year option on him. They will exercise it, barring something insane. And then the reason this came up in
what
the first place.
He decides to sit on you?
Well, the reason this came up.
He's the one guy that would sit on you.
Word surfaced in January 54. That his camp was wanting a new deal. If that's something he decides to do, we'll revisit it then. But I haven't heard anything about that since the playoffs. It hasn't been suggested. I've seen him here at the facility. He was at the Mavs game with all of his teammates last night. He's not acting like a guy who's planning on sitting out. If that changes, then we can revisit that conversation. But until then, I'm just like, you're making good money. You were a top 5 pick. Like, I'm willing to let that ride for the time being. That's how I feel.
Pay him. now. Get it done. No, he's the one guy I would feel absolutely comfortable. I'm like, just kind of how Tank said it last night.
So the one guy.
That's not my business. Get me my money and you figure out the rest. Because obviously, like Stephen Jones, he mentioned the whole we have several guys that we need to take care of, and that's something that we bring up to the players. But at the end of the day, that's not the player's business or job. Is like they don't.
So
care.
the quarterback or the runner?
See, here's the thing. Zeke is the one that, to me, literally carried the whole offense. In these 3 years, he's been the one for me doing basically everything. And the
They went 3-5 without Cooper last year while he was on the field.
Okay, there are different. There are other things that get him a good backup so he can rest a little bit. You
so
look at other things.
Okay. He's too tired.
Get him a good backup. Poor guy getting beat up. I mean, yes,
So
he deserves the money.
The guy that you feel the most comfortable paying is the guy that 100% gets the hell beat out of him every time he's on the field.
That's why you want to do it now.
And look,
I like
he's
that.
put up with it 3 years. So if you get him a good backup, a decent backup, it doesn't have to be great. Just get him someone decent, and he can rest a little bit.
Was Rod Smith, was he decent?
No.
Okay. Now we need to do better than Rod Smith, right?
Well, something happened to him last year. I don't know why he went downhill. I mean, I had
Give me a
high
running
hopes
back.
for
Just
him.
Give me a running back.
Yeah.
5'10", 5'11",
We're going to go get Justice Hill. Don't worry.
But I mean, I'm not the draft expert here. You guys have studied this way more than I do. But to me, and based on the time that I've been here and what I've been watching, I don't feel that getting a running back that caliber is as easy as you make it sound.
No, I understand. But Amber is asking me, Nick, to pay the runner, and I have to use draft capital to go get a backup. Is that right?
I mean, I
is that right?
Yeah.
She's asking me to she's asking me to pay him, but I also got to go use a premium pick because I got to go find a guy better than the guy we had.
Premium? Where's premium?
I'm going to use a third round pick. I'm going to use 90 on a back.
If you bought a home, you have to buy insurance to protect your home.
Yeah.
And so your fourth round pick is third or fourth round pick is your insurance to protect the home, which is Zeke. That's what you want, but you got to make sure you protect it and prolong it.
They right?
Can't get insurance if you don't have a home in the first place.
They right over there?
They're right about what they're saying right now, but I keep thinking about what AG just said, which is that it's harder than we think to find good running backs, and I don't think that's true. I think it's pretty easy at the end of the day, in all honesty.
Expand on that.
Hey, Fadden.
Look,
I can make your case for you. Murray had the best year of his career.
Yeah.
What happened after that? McFadden had the best year of his career in a long time. What happened after that?
Well, go around the NFL. Le'Veon Bell was taken after Gavin Escobar. He was barely a top 50 pick. Phillip Lindsay's a sensation in Denver. He was an undrafted free agent.
What would be the amount of years that you would say that these running backs have success? Like their most success?
Their first contract.
Yeah. This to me very much is
3 or 4 years.
Yeah, this is like
if you are a
discard.
If you are a generational talent, I mean, Adrian Peterson was still balling out last year at the age of 30, whatever, after missing a year in the league, after an ACL or an Achilles, whatever it was. Like, it's doable, and Zeke is that talented. And for the second time on this show, I was completely on board with the pick.
Yeah,
but
you're reiterating that a lot.
Because I know how these things work. Because somebody hears me and they're like, "Oh, you hate Zeke." And I'm like, "No, I don't hate Zeke. We're just talking this whole thing out."
Yeah.
If you remember, Stephen Jones, right after they drafted him, they basically said 5 years.
Yeah,
like 5 years, and then we'll see what happens.
Which I would extend him if he wanted to do it. And it would be better to do it now while he's still young and you can get away from the contract when he's only 26 or 27. That's fine. But I'm not trying to build the long-term future of this team around a running back, period. That's the quarterback.
But you guys
There's just
have,
something
but you guys
special
have
about him
questions.
compared to other
He
running
plays
backs
his
that I've been
rear off
around.
every game. He tries. Yeah,
you
he
got
does.
the window. The window's here.
You do.
This is it. This is the time to.
I don't think you're
strike,
wrong there, Nick.
Go
Yeah.
win and
But
sign.
that's again, if he doesn't show up to training camp, we can reopen this conversation. But he's under contract for 2 years, so he's here for the window.
I just think I might sit if Jarrett McKinnon was making more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
No question.
When will you sit?
How about 31-year-old LaShawn McCoy making more than me?
Yeah. Which, if it comes to
How
that,
about Lamar Miller making more than me right now?
I wonder, like,
They're enjoying their money, and then meanwhile Zeke is just in a tub full of ice, recovering from all the beatings.
Are we setting ourselves up for the offseason program starts on Monday?
Yeah.
Are we setting ourselves up for Zeke's not here?
He's been out here for the. Well, I shouldn't say that.
He'll be here.
He's been at the facility.
He's been
I've
at the
seen
facility,
him
yes.
around all.
I have seen him at breakfast.
Guys who are holding out are typically not going to Mavs games with their teammates.
Sure.
In my experience,
or showing up for captain's workouts.
Yeah.
I think that got somebody a little upset.
Yeah, it's
the defensive end.
Yeah,
should have done that.
It's okay.
All right.
It's all right. But if that comes to pass, I'll revisit this conversation
We'll talk about
all day.
it then.
Yeah. Until then,
it's real
the
easy
show
to
has
spend other
ended.
Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys
Pay 'em,
today.
pay 'em,
Appreciate
pay
you
'em.
guys.
Thank you.
Truth.
Draft show tomorrow.
4 o'clock Periscope.
4 o'clock Periscope draft show. I saw a lot of people asking what now. Where does the priority change in the
We'll talk
draft?
about that today.
Tune
don't
in
get
and
into
figure
it
it out.
tomorrow
Yeah.
at 11 a.m. Until then,
Yes.
it has been a good time with you guys. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Nick. David Hellman. I'm Amber Garcia. This has been the break on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?